What is that? I'm guessing that's what a lot of you are thinking, right? And what most of my friends asked at the school drop-off this morning. It is the electrified G80, Genesis' first electric car. Not the prettiest thing, is it? It's like the love child of Mercedes and Chrysler. Genesis calls it elegant, but I think it's the least graceful thing I've ever seen. Before we delve any deeper though, let's take a brief look at who Genesis is. And no, before you ask, it's not related to the English rock band, nor is it the first book of the Bible. The answer to this question isn't as straightforward as you think. Genesis began life as the luxury vehicle division of Hyundai Motor Company and officially launched as a standalone brand in November 2015. But its journey can be traced back to 2004 with the introduction of the Hyundai Genesis, a luxury sedan that laid the groundwork for its future. Recognising the potential for a distinct luxury mark, Hyundai invested in creating Genesis Motors. The brand quickly made a name for itself with its focus on high-quality materials, innovative technology and sophisticated design. In January 2024, the Genesis brand was axed as a legal entity in the UK and became part of Hyundai Motor UK. Despite only being on our shores for 2 years, it has a range of 5 models, offering both petrol and diesel. But interestingly, most of its sales are taken by its electric variants. Although its cars are largely based on mechanical bits shared with both Hyundai and Kia, which in itself is no bad thing, they make good EVs after all, there's a lot of individual design and tech going on. So, the electrified G80, as you can see, it's a large premium saloon and it comes with a large premium price tag. You're looking at £76,535 for a standard car. Crikey. It represents a culmination of a decade's worth of development, testing it on some of Europeans' most challenging roads as well as the legendary Nürburgring. And it really does drive rather well, but more on that later. It also boasts a high quality interior and lots of features. Has a claimed 323 miles of range, which is less than the BMW i5 and all but the sportiest versions of the Mercedes EQE. But it offers similar efficiency to those cars and it does charge up to speeds of 350 kilowatts, meaning you can juice the battery from 10 to 80% in just 22 minutes. We found real-world range to be about 300 miles. It also has vehicle-to-load capability, enabling you to use electrical appliances of up to 3.6 kilowatts outside of the vehicle. In theory, that means you can run a full-sized fridge for 24 hours, something to think about after the Spain and Portugal blackouts. But you will need to shell out £250 for the adapter. There's just one trim level, luxury, OVS, but you do get a lot of standard. Cue the list. There is also a lot of optional equipment available. So our car, for example, is fitted with the convenience pack for £1,170, the innovation pack for £3,560, and comfort seat pack and executive pack for £4,960. It's also got £2,310 worth of quilted Napa leather and a £750 sparkly silver paint job. It sets off the car's smooth, swoopy design perfectly and it blends in seamlessly with all the lashings of chrome. It's all rather grand In fact, a few people mistook it for a Bentley, an Aston Martin and a Jaguar. Praise indeed. There's a lot of intricate detailing too. The charging cover and radar sensors are hidden in a diamond patterned closed grille, for example. And the indicator lights are incorporated into what look like air vents. And then there's the optional solar roof, which can generate electricity using sunlight, albeit only in peak conditions. It only gives you a few extra miles of range, and I don't think you'd ever recoup your £1,360 back, but it's a pretty cool feature. So, with nearly all of the option boxes ticked, it brings the total price of this car to £84,265. That is a lot of money. It's only available in all-wheel drive, and the dual motors provide 365 brake horsepower and 516 pound-foot of torque, propelling this beast from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds in sports mode, that is. Now that is slower than the quickest BMW i5 and Mercedes EQE, but more than enough poke. What I will say is that the accelerator pedal could do with a bit more calibrating. It's just way too eager to respond. There's eco and comfort mode too, and as well as throttle feedback, each setting also retunes the steering and damper response. Like most Kia and Hyundai products, the level of regen on the electrified G80 has 5 strengths, from free coasting right through to one pedal driving using the paddles here on the steering wheel. And if you hold down the right paddle, it activates a really well judged adaptive mode. When you do use the brake pedal, it's really easy to modulate, and thanks to a larger brake kit to cope with that extra weight, it stops well too. Engineers have worked really hard to provide a strong yet light structure to offer superb torsional rigidity and also high level of dynamic driving performance. And there's a lot of tech that's gone into the ride and handling too. Particular attention has been paid to the electronic power-assisted steering. It just feels really well weighted and feels exceptionally natural in response. The state-of-the-art electronically controlled adaptive dampers have been extensively tuned through testing on badly conditioned roads, particularly those found in the UK apparently. The system also uses information supplied through a front camera and the navigation system to ensure the dampers are calibrated to cope with any upcoming bumps and potholes. In addition, the use of bespoke stiffened steel springs, anti-roll bars and rubber bushes help to make the car feel composed and you as the driver feel more connected to the road. The weight is distributed 49-51 front to rear as well. As a result, it manages to deliver a fine line between agility and comfort. It's extremely forgiving and just never feels flustered. But it is more suited to relaxed cruising. If you want something a bit more fun for the B roads, then you're better off with the rear-biased BMW i5. The interior is very nice indeed, with a lot of curved, clean surfaces, premium and soft touch materials used throughout, such as wood trim and lashings of metal and soft buttery leather. Our 12.3-inch instrument cluster boasts the optional function which allows the instruments to be displayed in 3D, which is a little headache-inducing. But that aside, cameras are mounted in the cluster and can recognise my eyes and use the information to highlight the areas directly in my eye line. This rotary controlled 14.5-inch infotainment system reminds me of what BMW use. It is so intuitive, although some of the functions are hidden too far deep down in the menu system. It features a split screen layout and augmented reality navigation instructions, but I find the ultra-wide aspect isn't the best for following directions. There is a full panel of climate controls, front and back, and plenty of physical switchgear, yet it still manages to look uncluttered. A few annoyances: the rotary gear selector is adjacent to the almost identical infotainment system controller, and a few times it caught me out when trying to select drive and reverse. Also, keyless entry only works for the front doors. Also, these screens in the back, which are part of the executive pack, they let passengers check the map, the weather, the sports results, adjust the rear climate, and control the media, but they can't control Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and there's no streaming services, so it's pretty pointless if you've got kids. There are also only 2 seatbelts, so you can't take a third occupant. But look what is in the middle. So we've got a storage bin, wireless phone charger. I mean, for me, this is a car to be driven in without the kids. It offers class-leading interior space with generous leg and headroom front and back, plus storage aplenty. But because it started life as a combustion engine car, boot space has been compromised by the battery pack. So it's only got 354 litres of room versus the BMW's 520 and Mercedes 430. I mean, it's disappointingly small, and there's no frunk either. It's unbelievably quiet on the move thanks to the use of acoustic glass and specially designed alloy wheels, which feature a hollow construction to reduce road noise and tyre resonance. It's also equipped with something called ANCR, Active Noise Control Road, which measures and analyses road noises with 4 sensors and 6 microphones placed inside the vehicle, and then simultaneously creates an inverted sound wave to cancel that noise out. Clever stuff. Not that you'd know it, as you'll want to turn up the 18-speaker surround sound system developed in partnership with the Lexicon. Building a premium brand over the top of mainstream mechanicals is not a new idea. DS models are little more than posh Citroens. Audis are tarted up Volkswagens, while Infiniti is a more upscale Nissan, although they pulled out of Western Europe in 2020, announcing they wanted to go fully electric by 2021. Ha! That's not happened. Anyway, I digress. The Genesis Electrified G80 is luxurious, packed with an array of clever innovations and comfortable to drive. It's a great alternative to the BMW i5 and the Mercedes EQE. My biggest problem with it is price. The entry-level BMW is almost 9 grand cheaper and the Merc 7. And you get longer range, but less equipment. Both of those cars also offer a single motor powertrain option and more than one trim level. It does undercut the Tesla Model S by some margin, however, and the Porsche Taycan. What I will say is that despite hating it on first appearance, I was starting to fall for it by the end of the week. It's so easy to drive with superb refinement and effortless performance. It's extremely well equipped and different to anything else on the road. But it's still an unknown brand in the UK, and that puts me off a bit. Personally, I would go for the BMW i5, but each to their own.